Hotline, one of the preeminent North American road racers, Ron Fellows, joins us. Welcome back to the show, Ron.
I'm hungry. You're in a pizza place?
Come on down, man. We're buying.
Yeah, we'll buy. and the best part is there's stuff to wash it down with too.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is a race week. Got to be careful with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Hey, I got a question for you. Have you ever looked yourself up on Wikipedia?
I have not recently. I was a couple of 3 years ago. Somebody said, "Hey, you're on Wikipedia." Oh, okay. What's that? I went and looked.
Well, I'm just going to read this. I'm going to read this headline for a second, and it says, and I'm going to leave out your birth date, just because you might be a little vain, but it says Ron Fellows is an accomplished Canadian SCCA Trans Am, IMSA, and American Le Mans Series driver, and a NASCAR road course ringer. Now, that's a sad state of affairs because everybody we talk to says there's no such thing as a road course ringer anymore. So where the hell does that leave you?
Out of a job.
Absolutely. But by the same token, great run this last week at Watkins Glen. Are you happy with that fifth place finish? I know you want to win the thing because you want to win them all, but tell me about that run.
Yeah, no, we, you know what, for the difficulties we had in qualifying and with the chassis early, that's pretty good. I just, you're always disappointed when you're not in contention for a win at the end. But it's our own fault. There was we went there with an updated version of some of the suspension work that Junior's team has been working on. That worked pretty well at Road America. This was another sort of step forward, we thought. The issue was lack of practice time. The 2 hours that we had allotted turned into an hour and 45, and most of it was in the wet.
Right.
So we didn't really get a chance to tune on it. Went straight into qualifying, and the thing initially pushed a lot. And then the incoming cars, so any of the adjustments we were going to have to make were going to have to be quick ones during a pit stop. But so we were over a second off of what we did last year in terms of qualifying. So we were languished in 15th in qualifying and essentially running about 12th in the race till the first pit stop. And Tony Sr. Took a couple of big swings at it with tire pressure, track bar, and did a little weight jacking. And we picked up over half a second a lap, which got us sort of solidly into sort of racing between fifth through about 8th or 9th. And a late restart, we got a real good jump, and was in the middle between Paul Menard and Casey Kane Sandwich, and came out ahead of that, and then got Kyle Busch on the last corner of the last lap. So we managed to snag a 5th place out of that. So that's the semi-long version of it. But with the weather forecast in Montreal this week looking like rain on Friday, we're going to go to the setup we had there last year, which was actually pretty good. And then if there's any, if we do get some dry practice, we'll just make a few tweaks on it because it was pretty good. So, yeah, other than that, as my son said, spotting from the interview, Ron Fellows got himself a top 5 finish.
Let me ask you about Watkins Glen and Montreal. You have run on so many racetracks throughout the world. Where do you rate those two as far as degrees of difficulty? I don't know if you want to take a 1 to 5 scale, a 1 to 10 scale. How do they rank, or is it hard to rank them in degrees of difficulty?
Well, they're both difficult. Watkins Glen and Montreal are both difficult, but they require very different things. They're probably I guess Watkins Glen I'm really comfortable with. it's got long, fast corners and can be intimidating. But I grew up at Mosport, which is now Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, learning how to race on a track that had long, fast corners. So let's call Watkins Glen a 7 and maybe Montreal's an 8, but for different reasons. The difference is Watkins Glen is with the long fast corners. The dependence is on chassis stability and aero, and you do that with a fair amount of spring in the car, and certainly a pretty aggressive front bar. Forward traction is really not an issue because the corners are so fast. Montreal is all mechanical grip. You've got some pretty, some decent top speed, but heavy braking. And apart from, I think it's turn 5, all the chicanes are, 45 to 55, maybe 60 miles an hour, and then the two hairpins are like 35 miles an hour. So it's all mechanical grip. Aero isn't really a factor. So it's softening the car to try to get as much lateral bite and forward traction as you can get from the tires.
Again, with your expertise in all these racetracks that you've run, would it be possible to run the long course at Watkins Glen in a nationwide car? Or would it just beat up a driver too bad?
Well, if it does, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be easy.
Yeah, right.
No, it would be awesome to run the long course. Oddly enough, in 2010, I did 3 World Challenge races for the Krager Wheel folks at Hawk Performance, and I picked 3 of my favorites. Obviously, Long Beach is a great street circuit. I picked Long Beach, on the home track, Mosport, and Watkins Glen because they were running with Indy cars in 2010. And it was a long track, and I'd never raced on the long track.
Really?
Back in the Trans Am days, we were always with NASCAR, so it was always the short course. So this was an opportunity to drive it, and man, was it awesome fun! It's fast. I think it'd probably create a little bit more separation. Maybe even more entertainment. The downside is because it's so popular at Watkins Glen NASCAR racing, they use a large part of that. The booth is filled with campers.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, they're more than NASCAR, whether it's Sprint Cup or Nationwide, Camping World Truck Series, they'd be more than capable of running the long course at Watkins Glen. If we're able to shuffle around Circuit Villeneuve in Montreal, you can pretty much go anywhere.
All right, I'm running out of time, so I got to ask you the most important question last. How the Leafs look?
Geez, it's a good thing we don't have much time because.
Come on, it's got finally sometime soon, please. I remember all those great battles between the Wings and the Leafs, and it ain't been there for a while.
No, the only good battle might be the New Year's Day Classic.
Yeah, do you have your tickets for that yet?
No, we're working on them. Yeah, I'm hoping that as a season ticket holder with the Leafs, they're gonna offer that as an option. I'm hoping, but anyway,
they did for the Wings ticket holders.
I just hope that the Leafs make the playoffs.
That would be good for the sport.
Yeah, it would.
It'd be yes, because I think I was in a different decade of birth when they won it.
I think the last time they made the playoffs, I had to stick some tinfoil on the top of my antenna to be able to bring Channel 50 in, and we only got to see about usually the first and the third periods because it kind of snowed out in the middle for some reason.
Thank you, Wings fan.
Yeah.
Well,
we had our own bleak years, Ron. Well, a bunch of them.
Yeah,